It's time for the Straight Talk program, and a very warm welcome from wherever you're joining us from. I'm your host, Regina Orlando, and with me today is Dr. Patrick Saisi, an economist. Daktari, thank you so much for sparing your time to be on the show today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Who is Dr. Saisi?
Dr. Saisi is a man born in Cheptulu, Hamisi constituency, Vihigas County. He's also a father of 5. He's a family man.
Okay.
And he's also in education. And then he loves also politics.
Okay.
That's how I can describe myself in short. But basically what I can say is that I went to school in Cheptulu primary school, then went to Mombasa, a school called Sunrise High School, and then I joined Mosoriot Teachers College, where I trained as a P1 teacher, taught for 5 years in Mumiasi division. It used to be called a division, now I don't know whether it's a district. And then went for further studies in Germany, then in America. So I got all my degrees, 4 degrees in business, economics, international studies, and agriculture. All of them from United States of America. So in brief, that is who Saisi is. And
one important fact to note about Dr. Saisi here is that he contested in the last general election and he lost to the current governor, Mheshimiwa Moses Akaranga, with only 2,000 votes. Is that right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
I was a running mate to Ken Butiko in 2013, and we almost got it, but the way the fate maybe was that Akaranga takes it by 2,000 votes. So it was a very interesting campaign, and God was with us. However, Akarang is a reverend, must have gotten the 2,000 because he's a reverend.
Okay, Daktari, having mentioned that you are also a politician previously when we were beginning the show, I don't want us to first begin with that, but I would really want us to go to that. But before we move to that, I want us to discuss some national issues. Currently, we have people moving. We have defections, especially from the Western politicians. What is your view about the defections?
Defections are normal, sometimes because people gravitate towards where they feel that they will get what they want. And in developing countries, in the US, a developed country, ideology kind of drives politicians. Where Republicans say they want small government, they have less taxes, and the Democrats say they want bigger government and high taxes to those rich people so that they can assist the poor. So that is the kind of ideology that drives Americans. But when you see in Kenya, I don't see that. I see kind of resources driving everything. People moving from one party to the other because either there is resources or they feel that in one party there are so many people there and they run away from nominations.
When you're talking about resources, does it mean that you are being given resources to defect, let's say, money?
I think it is not. Resources means not only being given money, but development as well. Because if somebody comes and bails you out, for example, the Webuye paper mill, Jubilee government goes there, bails it out so that people continue getting employment and production goes on and the sugar people, the company people get their profit. Then people around that, either the county itself or the constituency will feel like now the government is doing something good for them, and they may end up going there.
Okay.
Since they were in the opposition, but the government is doing something for them, they will do likewise. So resources may be doing development for your people. Because at the end of the day, you'll ask yourself, why am I in politics? I'm in politics so that my people can be able to benefit and come out of poverty. And if you have a government that is ready to do that, so be it. That's where I will go.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. And there have also been calls from a section of Western MPs that the Western region forms a party that they will use to negotiate in 2017. What do you think about that?
The problem of Western is one. We have different sub-tribes within the Western part. You know, if a Tiriki person goes to Bungoma, he has to speak in Kiswahili, not in Luya. If a Bukusu comes to Tiriki, he has to speak Kiswahili, not Luya. It's not like the Kalenjins, whom they understand their dialects straight away, or the Luos who understand their Luo straight away. You know, to bring people together, or the Kikuyus, whether you are a Kikuyu from Nyeri or Kirinyaga, you speak in the same language, okay? So it becomes easier to communicate. But the problem in Western Kenya, you know, somebody from Busia may not communicate effectively in Kakamega. Yeah. And somebody in Kakamega may not effectively communicate in Bungoma, and vice versa. And therefore, that dream of saying we can have a one party for the entire Western, I think it may not be realized. Just let us be realistic. Maybe I have been talking about having a leader from a very small sub-tribe, okay? Because now in Western, there are two competing sub-tribes. The Maragolis, who are populous, and the Bukusus. When a Maragoli says, for example, Mudavadi, I want to be the president of Kenya from Western, Wetangula stands up from Bukusu and says, I come from also a popular sub-tribe, I want to be one. So these two tribes have been competing, and therefore when they do that, then they leave everybody in a confusion. So in a confused state. So until this is done, it is very difficult so what I was thinking was, get somebody from a small sub-tribe in Kenya, in the western part, prop him up, let him be the one to say, I want to carry the flag of Western people. Then he brings out the other small sub-tribes. That way, these two big tribes, sub-tribes, will kind of see that they are heading nowhere, and therefore they have to join it. But as the way I see, it is always between Maragoli and Bukusu. Maragoli and Bukusu. And that's how it has been going. Right now, Eugene Wamalo wants to be, of course, Nairobi governor. Another Maragoli might come and say, so I can as well do it.
So don't you think the new party may be the only solution to the unity of the Western people?
Yeah, I think if we can have a party headed by a small minority sub-tribe of Luya, so that it is easier to contain that person than when somebody comes from these two sub-tribes. If we can have them coming together, and obviously, you know, as I have said, we cannot communicate in our own mother tongue because of the different dialects. And that really plays a bigger role. Meaning
your political language is also different?
It's also different. You know, it is good when you really express yourself in your mother tongue. You really communicate to that mama mboga on the ground. But when you find that you go to Bungoma and you have to speak in Kiswahili for mama mboga to understand, and then a Bukusu politician comes to talk to that mama mboga, whom is she going to listen to? The Bukusu guy, isn't it? Not the Maragoli guy who came and spoke Kiswahili. So those are the dynamics that we are worried about. But I'm glad that the way Jubilee is doing, if we can be able to be able to find why are we in politics? we are in politics because of development, then why can't we unite? You know, and that is why I'm saying having a big party for Western Bloc, it's a pipe dream.
Okay.
It's a pipe dream. Jirongo has not even spoken. You know, he has also his ambitions from Western.
Yeah.
So where? So it's not going to be easy.
Okay.
Jirongo wants, Mudavadi wants, Wetangula wants, and others are there. So to me, it's a pipe dream.
Okay. And previously you just mentioned about Eugene Wamalwa, that is the current water cabinet secretary, as being the governor of Nairobi County, and
right.
there have been calls. Apparently, so much has been happening in Western region. And what do you think about Eugene Wamalwa being the governor of Nairobi City? Of course, as an economist.
Yeah. I think Eugene Wamalwa is a Kenyan, and he's entitled to run anywhere in this country. We cannot actually judge him now until he tastes the power. So for now, he has been an MP, he has been a minister. So I think he's entitled to run, although Nairobi is not an easy, it's a cosmopolitan place.
Sure.
And it comes with its own challenges.
Sure.
But he's entitled to it. Let's watch and see. We shall cross the bridge when we get there. That's what I can say.
Mm-hmm. And again, still, from where you sit as an economist, what is the type of governor that Nairobi as a city, being that this is the center of Kenya, what is the type of governor that we require for Nairobi?
To me, we require somebody who has been, just like Kidero. I'm not saying that, to me, I feel Kidero has the background. You know, he has been in the corporate world. The only problem is that he has not been in things to do with the community development projects and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But in Nairobi, you need somebody who has a background in business. Because at the end of the day, Nairobi is about business and how you nurture those businesses. There are times when you will have more taxes. There are times when you should reduce some taxes, county taxes, to spur business. So I think somebody with business background will be the best to run that, and then somebody who has been tested. And because we have people who may come and say anything about you,
Sure.
and you should not just follow them because they have said that. So I would like to see somebody, not because he's a lawyer, that's why he's being given.
Yeah.
I want to see somebody who is being given because of his credentials and issues that he wants to address. You know, in the US, you must have your policies. What do you stand for?
Sure.
When you want to be a governor? What do you want to do? Before even you say you want to be one, you have to tell people what you want to do. So I would urge our friend Eugene Wamalwa to stand up, we have various stations, TV stations. Let him tell us why he feels he will be the best governor of Nairobi. I have not heard. What I just heard is people proposing him to be the next governor. But I want to hear from him, being a governor, what you want to bring on the table for the Nairobi people, so that people can judge from them. Those ones who are endorsing him were not even telling us why they want him to be a governor.
Sure.
It was nothing but politics. So I want him to sober up, go to Citizen TV, KTN, even KTS, and tell people, I want to be governor of Nairobi because of A, B, C.
But seemingly, those who claim that the president and the deputy should endorse Wamalwa as the governor of Nairobi County, say that for that can only be achieved. They want that to be achieved so that the president and his deputy can have the Western votes come 2017. Should that really be a reason as to why we should endorse certain people for certain management positions in this country?
You know, politics is very interesting, and sometimes the decisions you make must have some hidden agenda, of which I don't blame Jubilee, because at the end of the day, they want votes from Western part of Kenya. and they will do all they can to do that. Endorsing Eugene Wamalwa to be the governor of Nairobi. But where does Kidero comes from? Comes from Western region, right? So when they endorse him to be the governor from Western region, are they saying that Kidero is from Northeastern? You know, what do they really want? So for me, I think it is political, of which it's a strategy for them to get into Western. If it works for them, fine, because everybody wants to survive politically. And I'm sure Luyas feel that they have been marginalized for a very long time, and they want to be seen to be part of the process. You know, they need to be involved in decision making as far as counties like Nairobi is concerned, and other things. So I feel that endorsing him so that they can get votes, of course, that's one of the reasons why they are doing that, because the new Fort Kenya was dissolved, and the people from western part, especially Bukusus, were very mad. Why did you dissolve your party? What at the end of the day, what are you getting? So I think Jubilee government is saying, at the end of the day, you are getting governorship of Nairobi. And that will entice the Bukusu people, kind of, or the Western Bloc, to say, oh, okay, there is something in for us. You, even Waluke MP for Webuye says, now we want to have majority leader, we want to be given the speaker, everything now the Western people want. But with time, time will tell. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is about galvanizing votes in Western.
Being that you also emanate from the Western region, do you think that Jubilee Party is the ideal party for the bloc, or is it just a state of compromise that we've been on the opposition for so long, we've been in opposition for so long, and therefore we need to decide on where to be? Is it the right party when we are looking at political future of the Western region?
You know, the right party is a party that brings development. And I think the only disadvantage that God has, you know, Raila, is out of the government. And therefore, there is nothing he can give people now, apart from promises. But Jubilee is in the government, and it has sent good signals to Western Kenya that we are ready to work with you as far as development is concerned.
And you say it very well that Honorable Raila Odinga has not been able to be in the government. Don't you think this is the right opportunity, being that this is the last bullet, that you people can come together to help him reach the presidency position?
That's the ideal situation, but poverty is rampant. Okay. There is people had hit, their pockets are dry, and if they are told, farmers are told in Western Kenya that Mumias is being bailed out by Jubilee, Webuye is being bailed, Peppermill is being bailed out by Jubilee. Kaimo's Friends University, College Friends University is going to be fully fledged university. Some professionals from the counties are going to be appointed. You know, appointments are going to come. All these things will translate into one or the other, into a certain percentage of votes going towards Jubilee because of that. Because we have seen Jubilee has given Kibabi, this is a fully fledged university, which is in Western. We have seen it, the way I've said, Mumi has been given 1 billion, although they started abusing the president and the rest. I don't know whether the president decided to give them more money or not, and so on. So we are seeing good things happening. And for me, I'm for development. I don't care whether it's Jubilee or CORD. So long as people can feel like, yes, it's better, we feel better than before, we go for it. But at the end of the day, they will decide whether they feel better to vote for Jubilee or CORD. But I think Jubilee has done, let's give credit where it is. I've seen them bailing out our companies, which is good. I've seen But in Bungoma, they have more appointments than other places. You know, I hope that they'll think about other counties, Busia, Vihigas, Kakamega, so that we can also have people in that government, even though they are getting their salaries, they normally employ people down here, being the gardeners, the cooks, and so on. They will also kind of get that money from these guys.
Okay. And Dr. Saisi, being a professional, what's your view on the unrest that was experienced, that was witnessed in our schools?
In fact, that thing has really, it boils down to discipline. And during my time when I was a teacher in Mumias, those days, discipline was very high. Even as when we were in high school, discipline was very high. You play, unapata kiboko, unaenda kukaa. Nowadays, we said we don't want any kiboko, our children should not be canned. So a kid just does a stupid thing knowing very well that at the end of the day, utamfanya nini? What are you going to do to him?
So do you think caning should be reintroduced in schools?
I think corporal punishment should be.
Okay.
And it should be introduced systematically. In a way, you know, we used to have what we call black book in high school. Even just the name black book, your name is going to go to black book. It made you kind of get worried. You will be caned 2 or 3 strokes and then you go. But now they say, oh, you send your kid away from school. I mean, that child does not know what he's doing. In fact, when you are expelling or suspending that kid, you are doing a mistake because this kid does not know why you are doing that. The best thing is to discipline that kid by getting corporal punishment. But here viboko viwili vitatu, and they must have a senior teacher doing that. Not all teachers should be caning. But when a student has done some mistake, let the senior teacher or the principal give that person immediately a correction measure of being either 1 or 2 strokes, go back to class. That kid will never repeat. But this thing of saying that a student cannot be punished, this is the thing, that's the root cause. Let us not talk about prayers in school, I don't know what. No. You spare the road.
You spoil the child.
You spoil
so
the
for
child.
you, corporal punishment should be reintroduced.
Should be reintroduced.
Okay.
I may be in the old school of thought, but that is what I think should happen.
And in the past few days, the Parliament of Kenya passed a bill that seeks to control the interest rates charged by banks. What's your brief comment on that?
I think this time I agree with them. Even as an economist, I agree that banks are making exorbitant profit from us. The interest rate, even the other day, we had this CEO of the Bankers Association, Olaka, saying, accepting, yes, we have very high interest rates that the banks are charging. And therefore, to me, I feel that in developing countries, there are 2 things. You either force them to do something or you don't, and you end up in trouble. Banks must be forced to introduce measures that will not exploit wananchi. And one of that measure is interest rates. You remember we were crying a lot during oil prices. They were just shooting up. Then somebody said, no, there must be something to be done with this oil industry. And that is when we introduced Energy Regulatory Board or agency. And now nobody's crying, you know. But it will be controlled like that, and then later on, maybe in 10, 15 years down the road, and then we release it slowly by slowly. And then people will do that.
So it may positively affect the state of our economy?
Yeah, it will, especially it will force banks to think about these interest rates, bringing down. But if you leave them, they will not bring those interest rates down. But when you curb it, you are forcing the banks to come, to sit down and say, hey, how do we survive this like this? And then in the long run, after 10 to 15 years, we can come back to normal and say, okay, you have learned the ropes. Please don't go beyond this. If you do, we shall reintroduce this, and things will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saisi.
Right.
The Straight Talk program takes a short break, but stay tuned to KTS.